Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to a recap of night number 11 of the overnight feeds for Big Brother Season 26, broadcasting from back home. Glad to be back home. So let's get right into it. I gotta say, last night, a little frustrating for a couple of reasons. One, we had a little less strategy talk, a little more just playing around, running around, which is important in a house. You got to blow off steam. But because of that, a little tougher to pick out the conversations that we wanted to talk about. Even more difficult, we had the feeds cutting out a lot last night. I don't know what all's going on, but it just seems like you get just a few seconds of conversation. Just when it got juicy, the feeds would cut for 30 minutes. It'd take a while. It just made for a tough night. But that doesn't mean that there weren't conversations worth talking about, and we're certainly going to cover them here. All right, first of all, let's talk about, we had the Sunday night episode on CBS. Let's talk about that. We got to see that Chelsea won HOH, nominated Kenny and Angela and Lisa to go on the block. Well, we know that there was a veto competition on Saturday, which was won by Kenny. Kenny's going to pull himself off of the veto ceremony today, right? Surely he'll pull himself off. Yeah, he's going to pull himself off. Kenny will pull himself off, which means that Chelsea is now going to have to put someone else up in his place. There was a little bit of conversation on that as well. So let's just get into it. Now, before the TV episode itself, we did have a couple of conversations take place that I think are worth mentioning as part of this recap. First of all, we had Leah talking to Chelsea. A lot of people talking to Chelsea this week. Imagine that. Yeah, it's amazing the conversations you can have when you're in HOH. Leah talking to Chelsea. Not really game related, but certainly it could come into play. She was saying that she'd be open to getting more friendly with some of the guys in the house, that she's kind of torn between Tucker and Cam, that maybe when it comes right down to it, that maybe Tucker would be her top choice, but Cam has seemed more receptive to the whole situation. But she feels like maybe Tucker a little bit more than Cam. Chelsea basically says the same thing. She says, yeah, I'd probably go Tucker too. She says, now I wouldn't really date either one of those guys because my religion, my principles. So there's some things that they don't quite meet the hurdle level on. She says, above the two, yeah, Tucker maybe would be it. They talk about what a great guy is. They had said, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, something along the lines of, if I was drowning, Tucker would be right there to save me, pull me out of the water. Cam may not even notice. That's not what they said, but something similar, that Tucker's just a little bit more responsive. So we had that. How does that play into strategy? Now, we have had Chelsea worried a little bit, and she'll talk about this later, that Cam may be more focused on a potential showmance with Leia than the Pentagon and their alliance. So that's part of it as well. But we also had a lot of discussion throughout the evening. So I wanted to throw that in there. All right, we had that. The other conversation, and this is the one certainly worth talking about, Tucker finally met with Lisa about 24 hours or so ago. Tucker and Rabina had talked about the fact that, hey, we got to figure out more about Lisa and her powers and get some info on that. Tucker finally met with Lisa, as he told Rabina he was going to do. He tells Lisa that he'd love to work with her. He says, no one would expect the two of us to work together. Yeah, how would that work out? But he says, I'd love to work with the two of us working together. But you have to be honest with me, Lisa, before we can do something. She said, well, I am honest with you. And he says, well, first of all, I know that you cast the third vote to save Matt, which is true. She did. He says, I know you did that. And I know you have this power upgrade as well, which is not true. But no one seems to believe Lisa when she says she had to have the power. Certainly not Tucker. He's going on and on saying, I know you've got it. I studied psychology. I know how to read people. He said, every time you say you don't, you look away or you close your eyes or you take a drink of water. It doesn't matter what Lisa says. He says, now you're lying to me. I know you've got the power. Just go ahead and admit it. She goes out of her way saying, I don't have it. What can I do to prove it to you? Nothing. Yeah, there's nothing you can do. This conversation goes nowhere. At the end, Tucker says, well, think about it. We'll talk again tomorrow. And if you want to fess up tomorrow, then we'll have the conversation. But until you fess up, this thing isn't going anywhere. It isn't going anywhere no matter what. But Tucker made the effort to try to get Lisa to reveal all her information. And again, yes, she did vote to save Matt. But no, she does not have the power. Quinn has the power, and obviously is doing a fantastic job keeping that a secret. Now, here's my question. If Angela gets sent out on Thursday, and she walks out the door, is she going to yell out something along the lines of Quinn having the power, or is some kind of last minute power grab? Is she going to suggest something like that? I don't know. And even if she said it, would people believe her? I think they maybe would, because I think it was Chelsea at one point who said the only people who could have the second power is T-Core or Quinn or Lisa. So the list of targets is very small, but Lisa denies it throughout the whole discussion, and the discussion went nowhere. I expect today's will go just as far, because Tucker wants her to confess that she has this power. She doesn't have it, Tucker. When he sees the feeds, after he gets out of the house, I'll be curious to see how he responds, because he is so certain. All right, later we've got Tucker talking to Rubina and then T-Core about how he can just tell Lisa was lying based on her body language. I was laughing about it. I really thought if I was Lisa, as insistent as he was, I may have made some kind of offer along the lines of, hey, if you're so certain, Tucker, let's just make a deal right now. We agree that whoever's lying or is wrong self-affix, walks out the door right now. If I have the power, and it turns out I have the power, then I'll walk out the door. If someone else stands up and says, no, it's actually me, then you have to self-evict at that point in time. Put a little money where your mouth is, Tucker, if you're so certain. I'm not sure how that would have worked. I'm sure production would hate a proposition like that. But yeah, it's tough not being believed in that house. All right, so Tucker's telling everyone else that Lisa's lying about this thing. Tucker also told Rubina that he just doesn't trust Leah either. It's all been about Lisa, but a little bit of Leah here too. Tucker just does not trust Leah right now. He thinks that she would vote him out in a second if she had a chance to do so. So now we know how Tucker feels about Leah. Leah a little earlier told Chelsea that, hey, maybe a little showmance with Tucker would be fantastic. We've got a little disconnect between the two sides, right? All right, as we cut to the feeds themselves after the TV show itself, we see most of the house guests are eating in the kitchen, except for Joseph, who's having a quiet moment in the pedal bedroom. Celebrating his birthday, he says something along the lines, he's missing his family. He knows, his birthday's a special day. He's missing his family. So just having a little bit of a quiet moment. Kenny outside talking to the camera is feeling very excited, talking to his family, very happy that he knows he's going to be around for another week. I think he's feeling that maybe he's starting to integrate himself into the rest of the group a little bit better. Angela, nowhere to be seen. Angela's been just almost persona non grata this weekend. And I don't know if that's her choice, or I've heard rumors that people may have suggested that they distance each other that she distanced herself from others, or I don't know. But it's definitely Angela on one side, the house on another side. The big question is still going to be Lisa or Angela come Thursday. All right, so we've got that. Joseph, as I mentioned, a little down, missing his family on his birthday. Now, I am happy to report Joseph got birthday cake. He got birthday cake mix. I said yesterday, my cynical self wondering if it was truly his birthday since production didn't give him a cake. Well, they gave him a cake overnight. And maybe they watched his show and they forgot about it and remembered. But anyway, he got his cake. So happy birthday to you, Joseph. I'm glad you got to celebrate. All right, we've got Chelsea and Lisa talking in the HOH a little bit while we hear everyone else singing happy birthday to Joseph downstairs. Chelsea talking about who's going to replace Kenny once he pulls himself off the block. Chelsea is saying that Tucker volunteered to go on the block when Kenny uses the veto. We've heard Tucker say the same thing. He's so comfortable and confident that it's going to be Angela or Lisa that goes out the door that he doesn't mind doing it. He's probably safe, but probably isn't 100%. But he has volunteered to go on the block, and Chelsea's letting Lisa know that. He's also saying that Angela is definitely the target this week for the house. Perhaps not, but she's trying to calm Lisa down in this situation. I don't know if I'm Lisa. I'm not sure if I'm happy that Tucker's on the block or not. It seems to me I'd probably prefer someone like an MJ McKenzie, someone like that maybe doesn't have as much support of the house as someone like Tucker that, as far as Lisa knows, probably controls a lot of the house. So probably not a great thing for Lisa to hear that Tucker is going to be the third nominee, that if Angela pulled herself off the block with the AIBB arena, suddenly it's Lisa versus Tucker. And I'm not sure Lisa would be real happy with the odds in that situation. All right, we've got Chelsea and Quinn in the HOH. Chelsea is wanting to make sure that she and he are both doing everything they can to protect each other and protect the Pentagon alliance. She's saying, yeah, if I ride with someone, I want to make sure we're all focused and dedicated to watching out for each other. And he's like, yeah. She says that she talked to Cam already about his priority. Is his priority, is his focus on his showmance with Leia? It's not a showmance yet, but it's flirting with Leia, or is it all about the Pentagon? So she's reminded Cam on that. She also says, I'm all on board with the Pentagon, but there's some people outside the alliance that I still would like to protect as well. And that would be T-Core and Joseph and Kima. You want to protect them going forward as well. And Quinn understands that completely. She does mention that she has zero intention to send Tucker home this week. He volunteered. She took him up on it so she didn't get more blood on her hands. But it's going to be Lisa or Angela that head out on Thursday. All right, we've got Cedric and MJ and Leia. Leah talking in the bathroom. MJ is saying that Angela accused her apparently of following her around throughout the day. Didn't see it on the feeds, but she makes that mention. MJ is ready to boot Angela. She would prefer Angela be out the door as opposed to Lisa. The others seem like they're okay with it, but we also have Leah and Cedric sounding like they would prefer maybe to have Lisa go of the two. We have a lot of people when they talk to Chelsea and others, and she's saying, who do you want to go this week? And they say, well, maybe Lisa, maybe Angela, but whichever one goes this week, the other one needs to go the following week. So I don't really care who's first and who's second. So no one's really necessarily throwing it out there that I'm absolutely, except for Tucker, absolutely want one to go over the other. A few preferences, but the consensus is that these two need to be the next two boots. It's going to be another easy HOH next week, and then we'll play the game of Big Brother. All right, we've got Chemo and T-Core talking outside. They're thinking, I say that, and then here's the conversation. They're thinking that Angela should probably stay this week. They would rather have Lisa head out. They talk about making maybe putting Lisa on the block every week, saying it'd be easy. Let's send Angela out this week, and then Lisa, we'll just put her up whenever we need to until it's finally time to get rid of her. So they're thinking Angela should go. All right, we've got T-Core and Rubina outside talking on the hammock for a while. Tico a little bit worried about her position. We had some of this throughout the entire evening. T-Core just not feeling like she's quite fitting in with some different groups. So she's worried about her position with Chelsea. And Rubina said, hey, just go up and check in with her. She loves you. You should be good, but check in with her if it makes you feel better. T-Core tries later, but I don't think she ever got her one-on-one because there were a lot of other, in particular Leah and MJ, a lot of other girls hanging out with Chelsea throughout the entire evening. I'm sure it's just coincidence that the veto ceremony and Chelsea putting someone else up on the block takes place today. I'm sure it's just coincidence that the girls were hanging out on that day. But yeah, I don't think T-Core ever got her one-on-one to go hang with Chelsea and talk a little bit about it at any point. Now, they all did talk about Kenny, some of the different people in the house. They talked about Kenny. Both of them are worried that Kenny is a little too bro-y, is the term they use. Hanging with the guys just a little too much. Certainly a theme from T-Core of worrying about the guys and where their alliances may be this season. All right, we've got Joseph and Cedric and Quinn talking. Joseph would prefer Angela go this week as well, if he had anything to do with it. Quinn saying that if the collective wants Lisa out this week, that he is fine with that. One of these, I don't really care. If y'all want Lisa, I'll surely be on board with that. Joseph is saying, I know this is interesting. I did not see this on the feeds, and it may have happened during the day at some point, but Joseph is reporting that Mackenzie at some point called Lisa the B word in the backyard. And he's feeling like maybe Lisa hasn't really done enough to deserve that kind of label and deserve the treatment that she's getting. He said at one point, she does things and gets called out on it. Other people do the same thing and they don't necessarily get called out. So he's thinking the treatment may not be completely fair to Lisa at this point in time. And I think that's one of the reasons that Joseph would just soon have Angela head out the door this week as opposed to Lisa. All right, we had a long girls' night upstairs. Remember I talked about how there's a little bit more flirting stuff going on, a little less strategy talk. Well, here's where it starts up. We originally have Chelsea and MJ and Leah up there. they're starting to talk about Lisa a little bit, whether she was a third vote, the fact that she's still denying that she has the power. So they've got that. MJ is reporting, Mackenzie's reporting that T-Core came to her and said she'd like to do something with the girls, make some kind of alliance. Well, they're all excited about that. Later, T-Core comes in, and then Brooklyn comes in, and we've got Chelsea and T-Core for a while, and then Rubina, MJ, Brooklyn, Leah. In other words, a lot of girls in and out of the upstairs room, the HOH room last night. Kind of a girls' slumber party, it seems like. Again, girls' alliance, maybe, but we don't know because the feed's cut for quite a while they're upstairs. So I don't know if any kind of formal discussion was had or not. All right, we've got Leah talking again about Tucker and Cam and this three-way love triangle that Tucker doesn't even know about. But she's talking about that and saying that maybe she leaned Tucker, but she thought that Tucker was more into Rubina. Well, based on Tucker saying that he doesn't trust Leah at all, that he thinks she'd boot him immediately, he may be a little more interested in Rubina, but that's not going to stop Leah, right? So yeah, she's saying it should maybe Tucker, but only if he's into me as well. We watch at one point, the girls are talking about this, but then they see Lisa downstairs, and the conversation revolves back to her really making fun of her. I mean, just kind of sniping at her a little bit. Someone makes a mention that they haven't seen her shower. Lisa has showered. That's not an issue, but just a lot of little pot shots at Lisa while the girls are upstairs. At one point, they talk about hiding from her if she comes up, hoping she doesn't come up. Eventually, she does. Eventually, Cedric and Cam and then Lisa all show up. Cam told the girls at one point before Lisa came up that Lisa could definitely hear all the girls giggling upstairs in the HOH room, that she has noticed that they're all up here without her. So he's pointing that out. Eventually, all the girls are up there except for Angela, but all the girls are up there, and I think T-Core. But all the rest of the girls are up there, and they're watching as Leah runs after Cam and is flirting with them and just acting silly throughout the evening. All right, we've got Chemo and Tucker and Cam in the mountain room. They're talking about the girls upstairs. You know, should we be concerned? Are they talking about an alliance, something else going on? You know, is that a worry? So they have that discussion. Tucker's also asking a lot of questions from Chemo about what this AIBB arena competition was like, because Tucker's going to be facing it this week. So he's wanting to get some scoop on that. Eventually, Leah comes in and just is talking to Chemo only, and talks about the girls are conspiring upstairs to create a showmance. She's all mysterious about who it involves. It's her, but she can't say anything more than that and all that. So she won't give up the details. At one point, the girls are all outside the room, eavesdropping on the guys once the rest of the guys come back into the room, things like that. Now, the one advantage by Leah's telling this to Chemo, then Chemo tells the other guys, say they're talking showmance and flirting and things like that. I think the guys are a little more comfortable that that's a conversation and not a girls' alliance. So we have that. Finally, we've got Rubina and T-Core and Chemo talking. Rubina is saying that she just feels a little nervous and left out with the other girls. And T-Core saying, I kind of feel the same way. You know, we're just not really part of that group. And these two ladies have noticed it. So all this talk about a girls' alliance, and maybe the other five women will come together and form something, but it just doesn't seem like Rubina and T-Core are up for it. T-Core's been spending the night in the mountain room with a bunch of guys in there. So it's interesting. It's interesting with T-Core because she's talking so much about the girls' alliance and doing something with them, but she's not really feeling a connection. And in a lot of ways, it seems like she's connected with some of these guys a little bit more, especially like Joseph and Chemo. So we'll see which way T-Core goes. She may be doing a brilliant job of trying to work both sides. We'll find as we go a little further. But yeah, definitely Rubina and T-Core, not the best night. Both of them feeling a little out of shape, a little out of sorts to some degree. All right. Meanwhile, we've got Lisa and Mackenzie complaining about Angela and her vibe. The feed's cut, as the feed's often cut over the weekend when people start talking about Angela. So don't know what occurred with the rest of that. Finally, we've got a big group out in the dining room area looking at the memory board, making up fake names for everyone, talking about fake background stories on the different people and just acting silly and just having fun. no strategy to speak of. And finally, everyone in bed by 1:30 or 2, which is what, 3:30 or 4 Houston time. I think it's about 1:30 Big Brother time. So a fairly early night for this crowd. So there you have it, guys. Not a lot of strategy talk, a little bit of talk about these the showmances and possibilities and all that. But primarily it's a lot of discussion about, is it Lisa, then Angela, or is it Angela, then Lisa? We'll find out. Tucker's going on the block today. Not a big deal because he should be safe. Thursday's still a long way away. But I expect the rest of this week to be all about who do we get out first? Can there be a consensus? We may have a split vote this week, and then we'll see how that pans out going forward. Guys, y'all have a great Monday. I'll be back tomorrow to tell you what happened in the veto ceremony and any other overnight occurrences that take place. Until then, you have a great one. SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Bye.